Hey, how you doing? What's going on? Welcome back. The final hour of the trading day and the first hour of the aftermarket here for Monday, May the 24th, 2021. Just a few minutes ago, about 20 minutes ago. And the first hour of the aftermarket. I'm just sitting here watching the markets, getting ready to come on with you guys and talk to you about how the day is going. I figured it was an easy day.
That was easy.
It was an easy day. All would be well until the buzzer. But no, 20 minutes ago, GameStop decides to take a little drop in price out of nowhere. I don't know why. It's now at 179.70. It was 176 a share, 186 a share. I should say 186. Has been there 185, 186 for 2.5 hours, 3 hours, and out of nowhere, the stock went down, and I haven't got a reason for it. I'd sure like to know what is causing the sell. Why on earth is the stock falling out of nowhere? I don't have an answer. If someone has an answer, I would sure like to see it. Quite puzzled by it. Am I worried about it? Not really worried, just kind of, hey, what's up, man? 178.69 right now, getting hit. Now coming off about $8 from the low. There is no news anywhere. There's no filing anywhere on the SEC filing site to cause anything. So nothing official has been declared by the corporation. 178.14, 178.28, and that's all I've got at the moment. I don't know quite what the thinking is on this one. So I'm gonna see. I don't know. We'll see what's going on. Time will tell. Never know what it can bring you. It's always going to be fun. So anyway, there it is. That's what I know. We'll keep an eye on it. That's all I know at this point in time on GameStop. Other than that, you know what? IPOE holding right in there. The IPOE shares right now are sitting at 19.79, up $1.01. No complaints here. Trading rather nicely, and we're quite happy about that. Hang on one second. I just got to make one adjustment here on my channel. There we go. All righty, we're good to go. But 1978 up $1 on the IPOE. AMC is at 1365, up $1.57, holding its own. And GHVI, Gores Holdings, excuse me, down 14 cents. It's been down all day. Been under the break-even line virtually all day. But it hasn't been down much. The low of the day, 13.39. It's now 13.72, down 14 cents. It's just a little under the break-even line, but not so much. So no problem. The Dow is up 245 points. S&P up 51. NASDAQ up 233. So we're not complaining about the big boards. They're taking care of themselves. They're doing all right. But GameStop has got me wondering, what's up, man? What be the deal, man? You want to tell me what it is? I have no idea why the stock is dropping. It's still up 267 on the day. I mean, it's not like it has gone down on the day. Still ahead, but I'll tell you, the chart has been a very very flat chart. We'll check this out right here. Let me double check there. There you go. There's the chart. That was the opening this morning. It went up all day, and then it just sat right here all day, hours and hours and hours until the last 20, 30 minutes ago. Look at that. Is that a short attack? What's going on? Don't know. 179.13 now at the moment is where we're showing it. And if the seller has run out of gas, we only have 3.7 million trade. If that, 4 million on the day. I'll call it 4 million on the day. Still a light trading day, not heavy volume. If the seller got blown out and is done, stock will probably pop back up. 178.59 right now, 178.51 as it is sort of meandering now a little bit in this neighborhood for a little bit. So those of you who missed, want to get a dip, maybe this is it. It's still up $1.60 at 178.38, 178.94 now. My two devices are backing, going back and forth. 178.99. Maybe it's already over. Maybe it is already coming this other way. I don't know. We'll see what. I don't know, man. Do what I can with what little I have here in the real world. We'll see what what it's all about, guys. So we'll see what this market wants to give us. IPOE going up now, 1986, taking another run at perhaps $20, 14 cents away. Keep an eye on that. AMC 179 now. That is 178 levels gone. 179.14. Maybe this has already turned and it's going to bounce up. Don't know. Just the strangest behavior for GameStop shares in the last 30 or so, 20 or so minutes, I suppose, 20 minutes or so. Well, I'm just watching these devices. So 179.03, 179.31 on GameStop, 179.48. It's looking to take a shot again at 180 here. That could happen in a few moments. We'll see if that gives. Okay, welcome one, welcome all. We'll take the gains on the markets today and say thank you. I was just reminiscing here a little while ago. I was watching, during the break, I was watching CNBC, and they're giving a bit of a tribute today to Mark Haynes. And Mark Haynes passed away 10 years ago today. If you don't know who Mark Haynes is, you're forgiven, because it was 10 years ago he passed. He was the #1 host of CNBC. He was the guy that would host the market opening. So, half an hour before the trading would begin on the New York Stock Exchange, Mark Haynes would be on the air with David Faber and perhaps Jim Cramer and others. And he then was hosting the last 5 years he was on the air. He was hosting with the gal who's now on CNN. And her name escapes me at the moment. I'll get her name in a minute. She and he were hosting together for about 5 years, and she left CNBC to go to CNN, and she has her own show now. Just before Anderson Cooper starts his show, and I remember the day. Her last day on the air. I was very emotional when she said goodbye. Oh, just broke everybody's heart, especially Mark Haynes. He really liked working with her. Tremendous reporter. Anyway, Mark Haynes, he was the guy who basically called the bottom of the 2008-9 market crash. The end of the housing market debacle. All the markets dropped globally. It was a mess. And he called the bottom. He said, I think we hit the bottom. I think this is it. And he was right. The market never again went lower than the day he called it. And they call it the Mark Haynes bottom. They refer to the bottom of that market, the Mark Haynes bottom, in his honor. He passed away unexpectedly a few months after he said goodbye to Erin Burnett. Erin Burnett, his co-host, she went on to CNN. He said goodbye to Erin Burnett. And I think it was a few months after that, he had a heart attack on, I think it was a Friday night or a Saturday, and he was gone. He was gone. And 65, only 65. I'm 65. That's young. He was gone, and the network was devastated. Just couldn't believe it. But he was one of those crusty kind of guys. I occasionally kind of do that. I'm like him. He is a crusty old guy who did not take kindly to evasive answers from guests and stuff. Oh, especially politicians. He would just go after them. He was not happy. By the way, we're at 177.15 on GameStop. We're down further. We're now up 75 cents on the day right now, roughly up 76 cents. So we got almost to 180, 179 range, and now dropped another $1.50 here. Just watching to see if we have another run. Anyway, Mark Haynes, if he had an executive on from a corporation, he was asking him questions about his earnings or his earnings per share or his, and they were trying to gloss it over with some gobbledygook talk about their future, we're doing all the right moves to go forward. He was saying, what about now? So, well, your spare shareholders, why do you guys still collect your big fat salaries if you can't deliver the goods? I mean, this guy was great. There was no getting around this guy. I loved it. I don't know if anyone like him. Maybe Cramer could be like that, but Cramer isn't quite so confrontational. But yeah, this guy, Mark Haynes, don't try to BS Mark Haynes. It just isn't going to work. But anyway, he had passed. Anyway, I've been just watching them talk about him today, and it brought back memories. So I'll tell you, I really miss guys like that. I also miss Louis Rukeyser. I miss Louis Rukeyser in his prime so much. He was a New York financial writer, and he had his own show Friday nights on PBS television from Maryland. From what was it called? Something Park. Oh gosh, I remember. Used to always remember when they had they would say Wall Street Week with Louis Rukeyser, Owings Mills, Maryland, from Owings Mills, Maryland, which of course is where the PBS station is. And that was also the same station that used to do, or may still do, the shows every week about automobiles, the new cars coming out, the auto show or whatever they called it, from Owings Mills, Maryland. Anyway, Friday night they would do this show, and I think they had the studio. I'm trying to remember now how they did this. I'm pretty sure that they did the show out of New York, because Friday nights it was live Friday night to an audience across the United States. This is we're talking about 1979, 80, 81, 82, 83, where we didn't have quote machines like we have now. We certainly didn't have this. You had no way to get stock quotes out of your house. And so you would watch Louis Rukeyser Friday night to get the weekly recap, what happened. And I really enjoyed him. He was a pun master, a master of puns, and great one-liners. Really intelligent guy. And he had this, for some people, it was a turnoff. He was a very, he could come off as a highfalutin kind of guy. He would fit right in with the Hamptons, on those summer weekends. But he was also a market guy, and you knew that if you had a beer with this guy, you'd hear the other words he could use. I'm sure. I would love to have met him. I saw him live in Calgary. He came to Calgary. He was doing like a show and tell kind of thing, a tour, and he came to Calgary at the Jubilee Auditorium. There were 4,000 of us who watched him live with a panel of other people. And he gave about a 20, 30-minute spiel on the podium, and he was just tremendous. The audience loved him. And anyway, I miss him. He was already in his 60s, late 60s, when he was in his prime on the air. And so by the time he hit 70, 73 years of age, it was over. And of course, the world had changed and technology had changed, and this show wasn't going to work anymore. It just ran out of its zone, because we now had financial networks. This is before CNBC, so it would be public television Friday night. You'd get a recap of the market, and every stockbroker I knew, virtually everyone, we all watched this guy. We'd finish our day on Friday. We'd finish our work. Some of us would go and get plastered. Others would go get a couple of beers and then go home. Or others, like myself, Jennifer and I, we'd go for a bite to eat, perhaps, or we'd go home and order something in, whatever we were doing. And then at 7:30 or 8 o'clock my time, Wall Street Week with Louis Rukeyser was on, and I watched that religiously every Friday night. And I'm in the market, and I'm watching a guy telling me what happened in the market this week. I'm in the market. I was there, but had to watch it. Had to watch, because he would have on the top executives of some of the biggest companies, or the largest operators of mutual funds and pension funds. And you could watch these guys, listen to these guys talk about the market, which you would never see during the week, because there was nowhere they would be broadcasted anywhere. They would never be in front of a camera Monday to Friday, except Friday night on Louis Rukeyser. And if Louis called you, you'd come. You'd make that show. Yeah. Tim, who was it? Steve Jobs was on that show. All, like, every top, like the top guys at IBM, the bankers, the GE, General Motors, every one of them would be on Louis Rukeyser if he asked. And it was kind of neat to see that and watch these guys just talk live to a street guy, a broker type of a guy, which is kind of the thing that I loved, is that I'm asking questions through Louis Rukeyser to them, and he would press a little bit if he wasn't quite sure he was getting the answer. He would come in another angle and, oh yeah, okay, and then try to explain what he just said to the rest of us. Pretty cool bean stuff. 178.77 on GameStop. Looks like it bounced up a tad again. It might have touched 175-ish just for a little, and now it's 178.79, looking just a little better. The Dow up 240, S&P up 50, NASDAQ up 230. Sometimes people ask me, well, who inspired you, in your life. And sitting here in front of this computer with a camera in it, never did I think I would ever be doing this and talking to viewers and investors about the market live. I mean, I'm used to talking to people on a telephone one-on-one when I was a broker, but I never thought I would ever do this. And I try to kind of relate myself to these guys who were in front of a camera for years, decades, giving you their interpretation of what was going on in the way and the style that they had, but also in the limitations that they had. Obviously, Mark Haynes was part of CNBC, and there was the corporate philosophy, the corporate policy, and he could be himself to a degree, but he had to still stay within boundaries. At least here on YouTube, I can kind of go wherever I want, as long as I'm prepared to pay the price. If I want to slam a stock, I might lose subscribers. We know what stock that is, but you got to stay true to yourself. And at the end of the day, that was what these guys were known for. When it really came down to whether they were liked or not by their viewers or their contemporaries, were you true to yourself? And that's where Mark Haynes shone. He shone. Kenny Fox, thank you, buddy, for becoming a member of this channel, listening to this old man rant and rave and talk, joining while I'm doing that. Man, that's high praise indeed. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Welcome, Kenny. Everyone's going to welcome me in here. So what happens when you join this channel, people? You join this channel while I'm yapping away. This is what happens. People just throw you messages and say, welcome to the club. You're part of the family now. And we're glad you're here. No one leaves the firm alive, by the way. No one has ever left this channel alive. Just warning you. Be careful. 179.29 on GameStop. 179.49. Can it take another run at 180 now? Is this it? Did we hit the 175? Did you get your print? Did the short sellers get their little thing in? And is it all over now? Are you all done? Can the shares now go back to 185 and everyone, go around the campfire? Can we sing Kumbaya again? Are we all right? I don't know. We'll see what happens. 179.65. We'll see what goes on here. All the years that I was a broker, many a time, people would say to me, I really like you as a stockbroker because you tell me what the hell's going on and I understand it. And to me, the first guy I ever met in the business when I hadn't even thought of becoming a stockbroker. I was a young 24-year-old guy, watchmaker, fixing clocks in my house, in my apartment in Calgary, and I met this broker at Merrill Lynch in downtown Calgary on 7th Avenue and 5th Street. And this office used to be right on the ground floor, and you could walk in these couple doors. You come inside, and you're inside this. How do I describe it? It's like a long rectangular room, and since it was ground floor, the front of the place was the street where the cars are going by. You could see out to see that, and then along the entire side of the place was the avenue, the street, and people were walking by the sidewalk, coming and going. And inside this place, it had about a 15-foot ceiling, I suppose, maybe 20 feet tall ceiling. So it felt like a little miniature auditorium almost. And you're theoretically in the front of the office, but you're actually at the back of the office. You're coming in from the outside, and in front of you are all the brokers, and they're all facing away from you. They're all facing with you, looking at the big ticker that's going across. There's this ticker going across, and that's the sort of front of the office. And way down there, there's 15 rows of brokers, and there's got to be 4 across. There's got to be 60 stockbrokers, and assistants coming everywhere, and there's noise everywhere, and there's ticker machines going that you can hear, and then this is the Dow Jones Newswire machine, just this guy's reading that, and there's old men, there's guys 50, 60 years old, my age now, with stogies, with cigars. You're allowed to smoke indoors those days. This is 1979, 78, and they got cigars going, and it feels like you're at a racetrack. You feel like you're in a clubhouse in the nice part of the racetrack. We're not talking about where the horses are, number one. Number two, we're not talking about where the pari-mutuel bettors who are paying $2 admission go. We're talking about the guys who can afford a $5 or a $10 admission to go into the clubhouse. That's where I'm talking about. So you're in a nicer part of the gambling community, and everyone's gambling. I mean, these are investors. and they're all got their stogies, and then there's and these old men with those little French caps. You know which one I'm talking about? No trucker hats, none of that stuff. We're talking elegant, or we're talking about fedoras. Gentlemen is what we're talking about. A room full of gentlemen. Virtually no women except for the assistants and the receptionists and the secretaries. I'm sorry, this is 1978. I don't mean to offend, but it was what it was, and I'm telling you the way it was. And the investors are all male. Maybe they had permission from their wives to make certain investments, but in that office, they were all men. Anyway, you come in there and you get the smell of cigar, and others smoking cigarettes and whatnot. And there's kind of a staff member who's constantly running around keeping everything clean. It's usually a young male. It's usually a young male who's sort of kind of a rookie type guy, and his job is to clean the ashtrays and clean up the newspapers and just keep that public area clean. Because it's a public viewing area where we had theater seats. There were about 3 rows, and they're about 10 across maybe. And so 30 people could sit there and watch the market. We could just sit there and watch the ticker tape go by and watch all these brokers yelling on their phones or yelling across the room or walking around, and just action. It was great. You're watching money work. You're just watching money being invested. And I just absorbed this. It just came into me, and I loved it. So I got to meet this fellow, this broker. His name was Bruce. First name was Bruce. And Bruce and I met, and he was about 5 years older than I was, maybe 5 years. He was like 29, and I'm 24. And he'd been in the business now for his second year. He's in his second year, and he was now dealing with clientele. He was growing his book, and I met him because I was answering an ad in the paper he had placed, looking for what were called sub-agents to sell Canada savings bonds to people. So he was looking for people who had Canada savings bonds who could find other people to buy savings bonds, and he would handle the paperwork. And I answered this ad out of pure curiosity, and I had phoned him. He said, "Well, come on down, come see me. I'm down on Merrill Lynch. I'm on 7th. Oh, I know where that is. Yeah, come on in. Yeah, come on." So I arranged to visit him about right around the end of the day, and we talked for an hour because the market closed and things calmed down. And I was a sponge with this guy, just a sponge, and he noticed it. He and I were just hitting it off. We became buds. We became pals, and he sponsored me through the securities course. I took the course, and he helped me with that. And then we'd play squash together every once in a while. He'd wax my butt. Once in a while, I'd beat him, but usually he'd beat me. And of course, he introduced me to the game. So of course, I didn't know what I was doing. He knew the game, and I didn't. Of course, he was waxing my ass. But anyway, good guy. And he ended up becoming a senior VP of Merrill Lynch Canada. He moved up quickly because he was a broker's broker. And I hit it off with him because I became a broker's broker. And I moved up the ranks eventually. Once I got into the business, I became a branch manager and a VP. And so he and I we lost touch probably about 10 years after we got to know each other. We lost touch with each other. He moved to Winnipeg, and I was in Calgary, and then I moved to the Cayman Islands with Jennifer, and so we've lost touch. But I enjoyed his company, and I owed him a lot to get me into the biz. But once I got into the business, I took to it like fish in water, and away we went. But it was so neat to meet a person who really inspires you to take you forward, and introduces you to is unafraid to introduce you to the world that they're in. And he recognized that, I just love this. This is fantastic. And I was a so-called successful watchmaker, but I didn't want to be that anymore. I wanted to be a stockbroker. But you find out over time, the people you meet, which ones are who make it, who do well with it, and who just are a flash in the pan. And I met a lot of guys who they made a lot of money as brokers, but they didn't last long. They were gone in 3 years. They were gone in 5 years. They were gone in 7 years. And they were just a shadow of their former selves, could not handle the pressure, or just were not cut out for it, didn't realize it. They were really cut out for something else, but they found this profession and they ran with it, and they tried to make some money on it, and it eventually ate them up. By the way, 1998 on IPOE and 178, almost 179 on GameStop right now. So we've come back $4 from this dip that we've had here, just around the 310 mark. Just after I went on the air, we reached 175. We're now pushing back at 179 at this point. So $4 bump. Gores Holdings only down 8 cents to 13.78. Thank you very much. AMC up $1.68 to 13.76. So we're at the Dow holding at 246, most of its gains. S&P up 50 and Nasdaq up 227. I gotta say too, watching. I would come in once in a while to see Bruce at Merrill, and he said to me, he made it clear to me that if you're ever in the area and you're coming into the office, if you see me sitting at my desk and there's no one in the client chair, just come on in and have a seat. Just come on in, and you can sit with me all you want, and you can watch me work, which was a gift, an absolute gift to watch a gentleman quickly becoming a seasoned broker. He was in year 2, year 3 now. And I was surrounded, his guys around him got to know me. Like they was, oh, hey, Bruce, how you doing? Like it was really cool. And I got to watch these guys not put on a show, just be themselves. And I got to watch what it was like to be a stockbroker. And these gentlemen were, in my opinion, they were well trained by the Merrill Lynch family to do what they were doing. And I was really impressed by how they conducted themselves, because their managers were working with them to handle stress and good days and bad days and everything in between, and just be able to be level-headed about it all. And I was so taken by that. I was really impressed. And so I spent hours, over like months. I would come in once in a while, spend a half an hour or an hour, talk to him he and I talk between phone calls, and his phone go, oh, got another one, and he'd take a call, and I'd listen to him talking to his clients, and just watch him handle any question. And I loved how he just casually reported what was going on in the marketplace and the economy as a whole, today's news, what it meant to his client's portfolio. It was incredible. I really absorbed that from him, and used it going forward. $20, 1 cent on IPOE. How about that? Back to $20. Woo! Welcome everybody to the new world. GameStop 178.91, 179.27. Excuse me, 179.28. Going up again on GameStop. Maybe it'll take a run at 180 this time. Maybe this time. AMC holding at 13.76, and Gores 13.78, just down 8 cents. The other SPACs we're following. Not much going on. Vector's down 7 cents. Nav Site down 6. Starboard unchanged. Fortress up a penny. Vanek Vector's having a good day today. They've been talking about it on CNBC. They're talking about that computer chip shortage. Up $6. Having a good day today. We're nice to see that turn around. Home Depot down 22 cents. Ooh, Borefest. IBM down up 46 cents. Up 46. Dow up 237. Microsoft up 560. Apple up 228. So I think we've turned the corner on the fangs. Tesla having a good day, up 32.95, 32.58. Not a bad day for Tesla at 6.13. This morning they were talking about, oh, what's wrong with Tesla? It's all over. It's going to go down. One analyst comes on and says it's going to $67 a share. Tesla, $67 a share. I'm looking at this guy going, how are you allowed on the air? What? Unbelievable. Just like the world is coming to an end. Just stupid stuff. I don't know. I just, hey, sometimes even the exaggerators, they get airtime, and I guess the network wanted you to watch this guy and maybe do what I'm doing, talk about him because he was on their network. I guess that's it. I don't know. Is it clickbait? Is it the television version of clickbait? I don't know. Channel bait? 1992 on IPOE, just to tease us a bit. They got it to 2002 and now 1992. Not too worried about it. Pretty happy with this day today. I don't mind if it closes between 1950 and 20 or so, and then tomorrow it takes a shot to 2150. I don't mind. It's okay. GameStop 179.18. It's just dilly-dallying around this 179 range. See what this market wants to give us. Anyway, thank you everybody for being here, and hope you didn't mind my little story about how I got into it. We all have, some of us have mentors, don't we? We have people who inspired us, who showed us the way, or maybe the way they carried themselves, or maybe it's a relative of yours. Maybe a relative of yours over the years. You only met the relative maybe once or twice a year through your childhood, But you were impressed by how they carried themselves, or how they conducted themselves in the family scenario. You knew that grandma and grandpa was a crusty old guy, but you noticed that this uncle would appear and grandpa would light up. What was it about this person that would make grandpa change? Just go, oh, so and so's here. What was it what did that person have that would do that? And the person would light up the room. I've always wondered about something like that, and I've always been fascinated by that. And then, of course, when the person leaves the room, they talk about the person, but they talk about the person in a very glowing way, and there's respect and reverence, and you kind of want to know what makes that person tick, and why is it that person is of such stature. Very, very interesting. But you find that at work as well. You'll find that in your career from time to time. You may have had it in school. You may have had it in class. You may have had it with a professor. Certain profs or certain high school teachers absolutely changed your life. Completely blew you away. You had no idea that this teacher that you're about to interact with for this 1 year semester, the entire high school career, whatever, would be a life changer, a motivator to take you to heights you never, you had no idea. You had no idea, because you were, so into a routine or whatever your life was, and then you met this force of nature. Yeah. I remember one in grade 7, 7 and 8. In Canada, where I went to school, you went to school from kindergarten to grade 6, then you went to a school for grades 7 and 8, then you went to grades 9 to 13, or 12 or 13, high school. But 7 and 8 was junior high. And junior high, we were all, this is when the boys changed from 12-year-old boys to 14-year-old kids with the deep voices. And we started growing hair in places we never knew we could grow hair. And other things happened. The teachers knew that. The teachers knew that these 2 years, all these kids were changing. These little girls came in with, at grade 6. By grade 8, they were wearing bras, and it was all it was all happening, man. It was all happening. You know what I'm talking about? Oh man! Well, I met this teacher. I met several in that school, and some are I still remember them, but one of them. Oh. Mr. Woodall. Oh man, I don't think he's alive anymore. I'm not sure. He would have been in his 30s, mid 30s, when I was maybe 14. He was 20 years older, so he would now be 85, 90. I don't know where he is, but oh man, the science teacher, and there was no. It was all business. I'll put it to you. It was business. When you went into this guy's class, it was all business. And in those days, we had to go from class to class. The bell would go. We would have 3 minutes to go from the classroom we were in to the next classroom we were going to as a class. And then we would go, the class would come out of the other room and we would go in. And then the class would begin. It would be 45 minutes. And then we'd have this 3-4 minute, whatever time frame, to go to the next class. And in the case of Mr. Woodall's class, oh my God, we all knew the next class is science. We knew when the science class was. The next class is science. And I'll tell you, the tension would lift in the last 5 minutes of the class before science class. And whether it was history or music or whatever you were in, your tension level grew in the last 5 minutes, because it's all different. In the next 45 minutes is completely different than the rest of the school day, completely. And it started with getting there. And we had to get from one end of the school to the other end of the school as a class, and we had to be in line in a straight, perfect line right up against the lockers, ready to go into that man's class. And his teaching would end right at the bell. He would go right up to the very end, or even a little longer, and then let the class go. And the class that came out quick, because they had to get to their next class in a hurry. We were ready. We were there, ready to go. And we had, I think, a minute, if I recall, or less, to, as soon as that last kid came out of that classroom, we were on our way in there, and we had to be in our seats with our notebooks on our desks, open, ready to go, with pencil or pen in hand, ready to start writing and going. I mean, and it was silence. And I had in my class the tough guy, the school tough guy in my class. And his name was also Bruce, which was kind of cool. Bruce Wilkinson, I think was his name. This guy was like the Fonz. You didn't mess with this guy. You wanted to have him like you. You really hoped he liked you. And he was in my class. And thankfully, that spared me from beatings, because he was a classmate of mine, and I would help him any way I could, whenever I could, and any way I could help him, I'd help him. So I was okay. Anyway, I watched Woodall destroy this guy in 30 seconds. I couldn't believe my eyes. The toughest guy in school was humbled to a shrivel in front of his classmates by this guy because of how strict he was. But he was the fairest teacher I'd ever run into. This guy was a straight shooter, and you deliver for him, he delivered for you. It was incredible. But we were ready to roll right away. And I don't know if I ever told the story, but we had to do our homework every once in a while, and occasionally he would check our homework. And only once in 2 years, once I didn't do my homework, I didn't get it done, and that was the day he checked. And I had to come back after class to see him. Changed my life. I came back after class. There were like 8 other kids in that class, but I recognized 6 of them. They're all deadbeats. These 6 guys are always deadbeats. And then there's me. And I came in. He said, hey, let's just finish yesterday's homework and do tonight's homework. And when you're done, just show me when you're done. So, okay. So I sat down, whipped off yesterday's homework, did the day's homework. 30 minutes, I was done. Came up to him, and he said, "You all done?" I said, "Yeah." I opened up the book. He goes, "Yeah, okay, good." He closes the book. He hands it to me. He says, he's smiling at me. He says, you've never had this happen to you before, have you? I said, "Nope, never happened to me before." He says, "I don't need to know the reason why you didn't do it. But I'll bet you one thing. I'll wager that you'll probably never, ever not have your homework done ever again." I said, "Oh, you can count on it, sir." He says, "You take care. We'll see you tomorrow." And he was just so kind, like just so natural and not intimidating. Now he was like, "You're okay. We all get one. We all get one, and this is your one. And I won't have to ever give you another one of these because you're okay with me." And I would get B's and A's with this guy because you're paying attention. But he was a good teacher. He wasn't an intimidator. He was a teacher. He could really deliver the goods. But mentors that change your life. And it showed me that prior to that, my scholastic career was garbage. And even after, it was so-so. But this guy showed me that if you want to learn, you can learn. And if you get the right instructor, oh God, it's limitless. You get the right instructor. I realize now, I just need the right instructor, and I'm on my way. Just give me the right person to want to follow. You motivate me, and I'm motivatable. This is fabulous. I'll bring motivation to you. That really, really helped me. At age 14, 15, when your voice is changing, and you're not sure what you're doing, and you're clumsy, and you're gangly, and here's this guy, all grown up with his act together, and he's telling you in his own way, you're okay. You're all right. And I thought, wow, that's awesome. Anyway, motivators. I hope you have them out there in your life. I'm sure you have them. And there you go. Thank you guys for sticking around and hanging around with these stories of mine. 179.33 on GameStop. Is there a wall at 180 I don't know about? Is there? Why not? I don't know. IPOE 1988, right just under $20. 229 gain on the Dow, 48 point gain on S&P. NASDAQ up 219. We got 20 minutes to go, or is it 10 minutes to go? How much time we got to go? We're getting towards the end of the day here. 20 minutes or something like that. I don't know. Whatever. It's getting close. And we'll see how the market wants to go. Yeah, 20 minutes to go and we're done. Interesting. AMC 1370. Yeah, it's not a bad day. It hit a high of 1396 today, so it's close to the high of the day. 104 million. That's better volume on AMC than we had Friday or Thursday last week. You may recall we weren't even doing 50, 60 million on that thing. So that's a little better today. It's not 200 million though. That's the problem. It's not like a blowout mega everybody get into AMC because they're coming back to the movies and it's going great. It's not that. And the shares are 1367. So yes, $1.59 gain. Hey, complaining? Give me 10 of those on any stock, of course. But is this, will it be 80 million shares tomorrow? Will it be 60 million on Wednesday? I don't know. We got the long weekend coming up. Should be good for AMC. Memorial Day weekend. Good for the movies, right? So cross our fingers. Hope for the best. I don't know. We'll see. It's dicey. I don't know. We'll see. GameStop 179.43 up 264 a share right now. Volume on GameStop today 4.37 million shares. So light-ish. 10 million or more is good. 30 million or more, awesome. 50 million or more, something's going on. But 4.3 million, yeah, it's a quiet day here. But it is up on the day even after the attack here. The question now is this a little cliff before we drop again at the end of the day, or will there be a little drift higher? Well, we're here to watch it. IPOE up $1.10 to 1988. Volume on the day on this one has been 4.84 million. Very good for a SPAC. Remember, the shareholder meeting for this SPAC, I think, is Thursday. That is the day the vote is officially tabulated to merge with SoFi Financial. Spoiler alert, it's happening. It's going to go through. So we're just waiting for that to be done, held, tabulated, and then on Tuesday, because Monday will be closed. I'm guessing Tuesday the stock could be called for trading. We'll just, hopefully we'll hear the news, and maybe Friday they'll announce that on Tuesday they trade. I don't know. Well, it's imminent. So in 8 days from now, IPOE could be the new stock symbol, SOFI. So yeah, baby, we're ready to roll. Let's go with it. Run this to the moon. I'm happy. I'm ready. Gores Holdings down 13 cents. We're waiting for Gores Holdings to officially tell us that their latest filing with the SEC has been accepted, that it's active. They have an active filing, which would then allow them to do an official shareholder vote. Call the meeting, call the vote. We have the date. Then we can kind of extrapolate that a week after that date, we should be trading. So we're waiting for the Matterport merger to happen there. VGAC, we know the date. June the 10th is the shareholder meeting. That is in 16 days. And we'll patiently, or as patiently as possible, wait that out. The shares are still at $9.98. They are not moving. They are not going down. They're not going up, because I think they're being kept here. And you can buy and sell all you want right now of the stock. You won't move it. And this is an opportunity for those of you who want in. You can get in with, want to buy a couple thousand shares. You'll probably get them, no problem. Contract-wise, options contracts, this is your moment to be getting your allotment of call options for at least next January, December, January, and beyond would be my recommendation. Kenny Fox, you're the man. Thank you, Kenny Fox, for this very generous $20 super sticker. You are today's #1 donator to this channel, and I thank you very much. You are in the gold metal position alone today, but I also thank all of you who've been in the silver and bronze metal position. Thank you. Fabulous. What else is going on here? Nav Site Holdings down a nickel today at 986. We're waiting for that deal to close. Starboard Value at 990. We're waiting for that to close. Fortress Value at 998. We know the date. June the 15th is the shareholder vote. That will also go through. Fortress will happen. They will become the physiotherapy outfit. We will be waiting for that. Do I have that here? I have that here. Where do I have that? Yeah. Oh yeah, here we are. FAII to become ATI Physical Therapy. That will be the name of the company. So the company will be named ATI Physical Therapy, and we can forget the name Fortress. It'll be, the symbol probably ATI or ATIP or something like that. We'll wait for that. That now we know is probably within the week after their meeting. So by the 22nd of June, that one should be done. Same thing. You can get your options now. If you want any call options on this one, 860 physical therapy centers will be merged into this SPAC with, I believe, 50 more to be built out this next calendar year. There's a lot happening here. But it's not as sexy as online bank. It's not as sexy as a 23andMe human genome therapy type company. But this one is a cash maker. This is a cash generator. These API or ATI physical therapy centers are cash cows, and this company is going to trade on serious fundamentals, and I think they're going to be very reasonable, and you're going to like your return on this. You might wait a year from now. A year from now, this might be a $20, $25 stock, and you'll go, well, I've doubled my money on it. It's not as exciting as other stocks have been, but I made some good money on this stuff, and I'm trying to give you a solid company or better if I can, and that's what this one fits the bill for sure. FAII, way to go, and I'm looking forward to for that deal to close as well. Thank you everybody for this. Appreciate it. Yes. Well, apparently $20 US is 40. How much is that? VND. What's VNDs? I don't even know what those are. Thank you. What can I say? And Kenny, what are you doing? Another donation, $50 super sticker. Kenny, I think Kenny is trying to own the podium for himself. Kenny has decided that not only do I want the gold medal position, I want the silver medal as well. I want that podium spot too. So he's now got the gold at 50, the silver at 20. Kenny, you're awesome. Thank you very much for this. It's much appreciated. I hope you're making lots of money and you're sharing the wealth. I'm thrilled. I thank you very, very much for that. You're very kind, and it is appreciated. Jen will be very pleased about this. Bruce's summer school teacher, Kenny, way to go. Thanks, Bruce, for all your recommendations, says Antoinette. You are welcome. My pleasure. GameStop, $180.99, going to $181 now like butter. We're on our way back. That 175 low was a little blip or something. I'm not sure. Colin is figuring it out. $50 donation is like a 1.15 million dong. So that's a decent amount of dong. That's Vietnamese currency. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate that. Mr. Mojo is saying, I could have bought 2.5 more shares of IPOE with that money. Now I got you guys thinking in the right frame of mind. You're now figuring it out. 180.90, 180.98. Yeah, the 180 barrier gone. We're down to 12 minutes on the day here, and maybe we'll come back to the 185 level. We'll see if that happens. We'll take it. Thank you. Lots of dong. Butta. I have 3.4 million in dong. Beautiful. Thank you, everybody. My biology teacher inspired me. He was a Grateful Dead pothead, and he'd show us the digestive system on a projector. But he played it backwards, telling us don't do drugs or drink and you'll throw up. This stuff that's in here will now come up that way, and you don't want that because it tastes awful. That's a smart move. Oh man, I had a chemistry teacher. He was my homeroom teacher in grade 10. That guy, can't remember his last name, but he had a marine brush cut. The marine cut. His entire life he had that cut, and he was one of these white shirted, short sleeve guys with the pocket holder with the pens in it. Yeah, biology teacher, chemistry guy, right? Oh yeah. And there were 33 of us in the class, in his chemistry class, because the first time we had chemistry, we were all sitting there, and I'm sitting in the same seat that I sit at in my home room, because every morning we started our class in his room, and he would just give us the announcements of the day, and then sometime during the day I would have chemistry, and I would get in there and have my same seat. The first day, never forget this, first day, said, there's 33 of you in this room. Look around you. Look at everybody. We're all looking around. 33 of us. He says, I'm going to tell you right now, I've been teaching this class for 5 years. 11 of you will not make it. A 1 in 3 of you in this class right now will fail this class. Look around the room and decide who you are. I'm looking around going, it's me. I'm one of the 11. I'm guaranteed loser. I had to take this class. I had to take it for my requirements. I didn't want it, but I had to take it. And I'm thinking, I'm a loser. I'm gonzo. And we had three parts to the year trimester. And in the first trimester, I had a 33% average. I was guaranteed going down in flames. You needed 50% to pass. And my buddy, my science partner, he was getting 90s. And I'm sitting beside him. I'm getting 33s. And I talked to him after class one day. And I said, man, you got to help me, man. I'm in trouble here. I'm dying here. What do I do? He says, you want to pass chemistry? I said, yeah, in the worst way. Yeah, I can guarantee you a passing grade in chemistry. Yeah? What do I do? He says, here's what you do, buddy. You find me a Mickey of cherry whiskey. We were 17 years old. The drinking age was 21 or 18. I can't remember what it was. You get me a Mickey of cherry whiskey, and I guarantee you will pass chemistry. And I'm going, I can get this. I know a guy. I'm like George Clooney in Ocean's 11. I know a guy. And so I met him on the Friday. I met him Friday night somewhere after school, or just on the weekend. And I gave him a brown bag, a little brown bag, and he looks inside, and yep, there's a Mickey of cherry whiskey in there. He holds out his hand. He shakes my hand. He says, congratulations, Mr. Frommer. You've just passed chemistry. I said, oh, this is great. I don't feel any different, but this is great. Monday, the next class, he's working with me. He's just all over me in the class. He's working with me, and the teacher's noticing this out of the corner of his eye. He's noticing that, oh, yeah, look at Lilienthal helping Frommer over there. Leave him alone. That's good. And he's showing me, and it's easy. Chemistry is a piece of cake. I couldn't believe it how easy it was. But because I had a mentor who he took the water with this stuff, and he could explain it to me. He had the gift of explaining something complex to somebody else. And I would absorb this stuff. And the next semester, I got a 64% grade or trimester. And then at the end, I got a 78, something like that. I ended up with like a 58% average for the year, like well over the number. And that was close. Crisis averted. But I'll tell you, sometimes a Mickey of cherry whiskey can go a long way when you're 17 years old. I tell you, these are things they don't teach you in junior high. I'll tell you that right now. Anyway, what can I say? Oh, man, I hated school. My grandpa was a principal, and grandpa was a teacher. I didn't follow in their footsteps. Yeah, not the worst thing to have a chemistry ringer. You got that right, boy. I'll tell you this. And this guy was a geek. He was a geek, but I bet you he's become a multimillionaire writing software somewhere. I'm sure he's done really well. I'm sure he's done well. I don't know wherever happened to him. I have no idea. Wow. Yep. All the times, all the ways we found a way to survive. It was unbelievable. What can I say? Hey, Uncle Bruce, what's your opinion on these GHVI calls? Should I grab some 1250s or 15s for December or next year sometime? Either or. Pick off either or. You'll be fine. If you get the 15s, they're just out of the money, but they're not that far out. And you can grab those. So you'll be fine. December is good. Yeah, December or later. If you get a good price on them, you're happy. Absolutely. Alcohol bridges all gaps. There you go. I live in Tennessee. Cherry whiskey sounds tasty. Well, when you're 17 and you need sugar, I guess it's the sweet liquid. I suppose. I don't know. I don't know. Great story. Those are times. I'll tell you. Oh my gosh. Do you think I should sell my IPOE 1250 calls for January 22 and buy $20 calls? Would that raise my profit potential? Thank you. Well, okay. I guess what you're saying is if you're selling 1250 IPOEs, you're well in the money, and you're going to pick off $20 calls to leverage up with more contracts. That's what you're after, aren't you? And every dollar it goes up from here, you're in the money right now, $20. Yeah, maybe why don't you do half? Keep half and move the other half over. You got a little of each. Try that for now and see how it goes. Yeah, it's worth a shot. Yep. Ryan, in my first upper level class, econ class, I just barely failed my first two exams, 59%. My prof told me to withdraw from the class because only C's count. I aced everything else. F that guy. Oh, man. I thought he gave the teacher the whiskey. Voila, passing the grade. No, I didn't need that. Yeah, there was a turning point in that class. We had weekly tests where we would have like a Friday you would do a test, and on Mondays you'd get them back. And this guy would hand the tests back from the lowest mark to the highest mark. So the first name called, the loser of the class, right? Oh, humiliating. And I would usually be one of the first 5 or 8 guys called because, bottom of the heap. I'm one of the 11 going down in flames. So for the first 2 months, it was, Jerry, Debbie, Bruce, and I'd go up there and get my 38% average result. Anyway, the turning point came after the whiskey was changed hands. The next test, Mark helped me. He helped mentor me for the test. We're going to get you ready for this Friday's test. I was ready, and we took the test, and I felt pretty good about it. Although I thought I had felt really good about these other tests. These 45%, these 30 to 40% specials that I'd been writing. I thought I'd done well. But okay, so I wrote the test on the Friday, and the Monday comes around, and it's time to get them. And he's calling out names, 8 names, 9 names, 10 names. And my buddy Mark is elbowing me going, he ain't called you yet. He hasn't called you yet. And now he's calling out names that have passed. These are the passing kids. And he's not calling my name. And I'm thinking, what's wrong with this guy? Why are you not calling my name? You teasing me? You going to throw me a 38%er at the end here? What's going on? And then he goes, Bruce, and he holds up this paper, Bruce. And I get up and I walk up to the front of the class, and he looks at me and goes, not you, Markinson. And the other Bruce, there's 2 Bruce. He calls I go walk back to my desk, and my buddy's going, it's not you. The other guy who always gets 80s, he's called up first to get his test, and he got 80. And he's looking at me when he's walking back to his desk like, I got 80. What the hell did you get? You haven't got your paper yet. There's only 5 names left. What? A couple names later, Frommer. That's me. So I come up there, and he's holding it, and he won't let go of it. I'm trying to take it up. He won't let go, and he's going, good job. Then he let go. And I'm looking at him going, 84% on a chemistry test. 50% higher than what I'm usually getting. Oh, my God. But he knew why. Teacher knew why. Lilienthal, you and him are working together. And of course, Lilienthal, he's the last guy to get called at 98%, 99%. Every time he's the last guy to get called. Well, my mentor is looking at me going, we got to get better than that. I said, better than 84? Is that possible? Loved it. Just loved it. Yeah, those were the days where the world changed for me. Those are little things that happened to you. What are you going to do? What do we got now? A minute to go before the close. So let's get this bell in. 179.86 on GameStop, 1980 on IPOE, AMC 1367, Gores Holdings 1360. Are we going to shut this down here? Looks like the bell is getting ready to go. 36 seconds, so we're almost there. 179.99 on GameStop. Well, we know the game that's being played here. We're going to play this 180 game today. Maybe, maybe not. And 1980 on IPOE. Doesn't look like we're going to get on 20. It's okay. I can live with myself if we don't have a $20 print on IPOE. I'll take the 99-cent game. Thank you very much. 179.66 on GameStop. 180 180.13. The bell is going. Let's look at the print here. 180.13 is what I see with a 180 aftermarket. So maybe we got the 180 back. Up $3.33 on GameStop. Let's not get too excited. We're happy with the print, but we're only up $3.34. I mean, it's okay, but we were higher today. We were at 188 today. I would really like to see 190 again, but maybe tomorrow will be the day we get 190. Anyway, there it is, 188. IPOE 1977 up 99 cents on the day on 5.2 million shares. Thank you very much. AMC at 1367 up $1.59. Volume of 110 million shares today. Trading at 1370 in the aftermarket at this moment in time. And Gores Holdings closing up 1367 last trade on a volume of 655,000 shares, down 19 cents. I can live with that. If it has to be a down day, give me 19-cent down days. Give me an update. Give me an 80-cent update. I'll take that 10 times over. No problem at all. Let's see what happens. Dow closed up 185.9 points, about 186. S&P up 41, NASDAQ up 190. It looks like the Dow gave up a little bit of ground in the last 45 minutes, but held a majority of the gains made today. So that's an okay first day of the week. We'll take it. Keeping in mind that as the week rolls on, it might get quieter because Memorial Day is coming. But you never know how these markets go sometimes. We'll see what it wants to give us. There you have it. GameStop, 179.15 on the aftermarket. Doesn't matter. We closed at 180. Yahoo! We'll take that. And 1970 to 1977 on the IPOE. So there you go. Is it best to sell your options before the expiration dates? Well, this is a question that isn't simply answered in one sentence. And if you're going to take one of my classes, by the way, some of you folks are coming up with names for my classes that we're proposing to do. I kind of like I kind of like the way you mentioned it as master classes. I kind of like that, master class. Kind of like that. Anyway, if you check out one of my classes coming up, what's going to happen is there's going to be a small number of us together in a class live. It's going to be a private session, just you, me, and a few others. And I'll be able to give you a 30, 40, 45 minute, let's say a 45-minute presentation, and we'll open up for questions. And we literally will do questions and answers during the session anyway. But this is going to be one of the topics we're going to have to cover because a lot of you ask me all the time, how do I get out? You all hear, all of you are always being told buy and hold, buy and hold, buy and hold. Have you ever been told to sell? Has everyone ever said to you, it's time to get out now? You've made a nice profit on this. It's time to take your money off the table. Have you heard that? Rarely do you hear that. You never hear it on CNBC. Do you ever see an analyst ever come on CNBC and say, this is a good place to take a profit? It's almost unheard of. The only time I hear about it is when I see an analyst come on the air and say, we think it's a good time to sell, ABC technology company because it's done really well. The stock has just gone up 50% in the last 4 months, and we think it's fully priced. And it's time to take some profits. The problem is, of course, this person is talking to the world, and there aren't like every single shareholder of that stock, none of them combined all have the same average price. Everybody has a different average price. So some of these folks have only bought in the last couple of weeks, and they're only up 5%. Now they're being told this is a good time to sell it. And they're going, I only bought it 5% ago. Others bought it 15% ago. They bought it 20% lower, 30% lower. They bought it a year ago, 80% lower. They're all wondering, well, should I really get out? Or how bad do you think it's going to? Is there something wrong? And the guy's going, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong. Well, it's too late now. Because as soon as the analyst says, well, this is a good time to take a profit, everyone thinks there's something wrong. And the stock drops 15% in value right away. That's why you don't hear them talking about this is a good time to sell. But with options, you have to sell. You have to do something if you're going to make money in options. And the thing about options is you buy and sell, or you sell and buy. Either that, or you sell and let expire, or you buy and let expire. Now, if you buy a call contract and you let it expire, guess what? You lost all your money because you let it expire, all right? If you sell to buy later, but you don't ever buy it back, it expired worthless, and you're a happy camper because you sold a contract at $5 a contract, $5 a share, $500 a contract, and it went down to zero, and you keep the $500. Those are the two examples where you don't have to do anything. But most of the time on options transactions, you buy a call contract at a price and you want to max out your profit, and you're going to sell it at another price. You're not going to exercise contracts. Less than 1%, if that, of all contracts are ever exercised. So you're going to just sell the contract for a profit and move on. And contracts will turn over many, many, many times. It's possible that if you're going to buy an IPOE contract, if you bought one today for, say, a $20 exercise price that expires in December, it's possible that you are the fifth holder of that contract. It's turned over already 5 times or 4 times. You're just the fifth holder. And you might sell this contract if the stock goes from $20 to $30 a share, and you've got a delicious profit that you just can't stand it anymore. You're going to sell your contract. You're going to take your money off the table. Well, now it's the 6th turnover, and the person buying from you might sell it a week later. It's the 7th turnover. And so these contracts can turn over again and again and again and again. And that's just how the contract market works. So the question is it best to sell your options before expiration date? Yes, it is. The reason it is, most of the time, is because, for example, you buy a December contract today for, say, IPOE at a $20 strike price. And you have to pay $3 for it, just let's say $3. All premium, that's what you're paying right now, no book value because it's at 1977. But the stock goes up for you because, SoFi's coming in, and we're excited. So it goes to $30, okay? And it goes to $30 a month from now, for example. You're sitting there going, wow, this is great. Stock went up $10 while I held this contract, or these contracts, however many you got. I'm in at $3. It's now valued at $10 just on the value of the stock. The stock's at 30. I can get the strike price is 20. This contract has a $10 in the money value, book value, plus premium. The premium might still be $250. So I get a $12.50contract here. You're not going to exercise the stock and buy it at $20 because it's trading at 30. Because if you do that, you're giving away $250 a share. You just sell the contract into the option market to somebody else. And the option contract market is moving with the stock. So you'll get probably $12.50 for that contract. That's $250 more than it's worth. And that's why you don't exercise it. Now, let's go down the road. Let's suppose that you're a holder of this kind of a contract, January 2022, at $20 exercise, and the stock at that time is just $30. Again, same number. But it only has a week to go. The contract has a week of life left in it. All right, 5 more trading days, and it's over. It's in the money, but it expires that Friday. What do you do now? Do you sell the contract or exercise the contract? You'll be better off selling it. I'll tell you why. Because the likelihood is its value is $10 book value, but it'll probably still have a 50 to 75 cent a share premium on it, even with only 5 days to go. It might even have a $1 premium on it. Because the buyer who will buy it from you might be a gambler going between now and Friday. It might go up another $1 or $2. And this contract will be worth $13 or $14, and I'm going to buy it for 10 and sell it for 12 or 13 or 14. They're still gambling on this thing. There's a $1 premium. You take the $11 and say, I'll just sell the contract. Thank you. Give me the $11. Now, here's the other thing. You buy a contract, you sell a contract, you buy a contract, you sell a contract. Your commission might be as low as $1 a contract, 50 cents a contract. So you're selling it for $1,100, $11 a share, $1,100 contract. The commission might be $5 to sell. So you net out $1,095 in your hand. Okay. On the other hand, if you exercise it, the brokerage firm you're using may have policies and rules and fees that say if you exercise a contract, it's a minimum charge. Might be a $50 fee to do the service. Because you're making them do work. You're making them contact the Chicago Board of Chicago Mercantile Exchange. You're making them tell them we have a client who wants to exercise a contract. You're making Chicago work. You're making Chicago inform a contract writer that they have to give up 100 shares. You're making the broker on the other side work to contact the writer of the contract, whoever that person is, that they got to cough up their stock. You're creating work, which means you're creating expenses, and you're going to pay. And you don't want to do that. You're better off just selling the contract, eat up $1 or $5 and say thank you, grab your $1,095, which is more than it's worth, and then go ahead and buy the damn stock. You want the stock? Buy it on the open market now. Go ahead. You might have a commission-free trade, and so it only costs you $1 to $5 in commissions to deal with the option, and no commissions to buy the stock. That's why you want to do that, all right? So yes, it is better to sell your contract before the expiration date. But there's one other thing to think about. You bought the contract however long ago, and you thought in your mind that if the stock reaches a certain level, I'm a happy camper and I'm going to take my money off the table. Because that's what you should be doing when you buy a contract. When you buy a contract, you are thinking in the back of your mind that this isn't for a long time. These contracts don't last 5 years. These contracts can last a week, 3 weeks, 6 weeks. It depends on which one you buy. So if you're buying the January contract, you're buying an 8-month contract like I'm telling you to. Great. Okay, you got an 8-month contract. But you should still have the frame of mind that says the stock against this contract, IPOE, I have a number in my mind that I think the shares can reach. Now, I'm listening to Bruce, and he's talking about the fact that there are analysts out there who are saying that this thing is worth $27 a share upon listing, book value. But I'm listening to Bruce, who's saying, you know, there's probably going to be a lot of interest in the IPOE stock, which is now going to be known as SoFi. And there's going to be a lot of interest in people wanting to gamble on SoFi shares. And this could well be a stock that could trade at a premium to its book value. Most likely it would. What would the premium be? Well, in your mind, you might go, it could be as high as 35, but 30 to 35 is kind of my window. And this is where you have to be disciplined and say to yourself, all right, if it reaches 30, my antenna goes up. I'm getting ready to sell this stuff. It just entered my sell zone. 30 to 35 is the sell zone for my contracts because the stock in that range is kind of what I figure. Now, everything is subject to adjustment and reappraisal and always looking at what happens. But in reality, in the real terms and in the real world, you're looking at this going, if it just gets to 30 and it looks like it's run out of gas, I'm out. And you'll sell your contract at $10 plus maybe $250 book value. Because if that happens in the next month, you still got 7 months to go in this contract, it's going to have $250 premium on it. On the other hand, if it gets to 27, 28, and then 2 days later it's 29.50, and the next day it's 30.50, 3 days later it's 31 and a quarter, you're looking at it going, it's not topping out. It's still moving. It's still momentuming forward. Is that a word? The momentum is there and it's going higher. It's just, it'll have a few setbacks, but it looks like overall there's a trend to take it higher. And so you wait. It's in the sell zone. You're in your sell zone, but you're now sitting there going, okay, we're 11 in the money. We're 11.50 in the money. We're 12 in the money. But this, I figured 30 to 35. Once it gets to 34.50, you're looking at it going, is this still moving or is it topping out? Is it only going up a dime a day on a good day and going down 15 cents on a bad day? Is it doing that? Or it got to 33.50, got to 33.75. Next day got to 34.15, and next day got to 34.50, and then 34.25 and 34.75. It looks like it's still going. You may let it go through your sell zone to 35.50, 36. But it's now to the point where you're beginning to go, okay, we're in gravy zone here. We're beyond where I thought. And if this begins to top out at 36, 36 and a half, can't get to 37, I'm out of here. I'm walking out with my contract money. Because if you do have a contract $15 in the money that you thought would only be 10 in the money, conservatively, now it's 15 or 15.50 in the money, and you can take 18 off the table with the premium, that's your sell signal right there. Boom, I'm out of here. I bought at 3, I'm out at 18, 6 times my money. How many do I have? 1 contract? Damn, I wish I had 10. How many have I got? 6? I wish I had 20. I got 10. I wish I had 50. Welcome to the world. But you're going to take your exit. Another strategy, of course, is you've got 10 contracts and you get to your sell zone at 30. Stock's at 30 and you were thinking between 30 and 35, I'm getting out. Well, it reaches 30, 30, 25, and you're going to be disciplined about it and go, I'm selling 2 calls every time it goes up $1 from here. It hits 30, 30, 50, I'm selling my first 2 calls of 10. And then it reaches 31, 32, I'm selling 2 more. And it reaches 33, 33, 50, selling 2 more. You're just going to systematically take your exit in the sell zone because you don't know what the high is going to be and you don't want to miss it because it might reach 33.50 and then back off to 28 for a while. And you blew it. You didn't sell anything. What are you doing? So you've exited, and you've got money piling up in your account, and you're not doing anything with that cash until you watch where the stock ends up, and then you can reassess, because that's how you avoid mistakes. The mistake is selling and immediately buying something else because it's going to go higher. Big mistake. You have to assess yourself and observe this market and take money off the table and amass your cash. Pick up the dry powder. Get your dry powder ready and look for dips. And it might be on IPOE. It might not be on IPOE. It might be on GameStop. The dip might come on VGAC. The dip might come on another stock. I don't know. You've got to be ready. And you are going to cash in over time. And you're going to take money off the table and reduce your exposure. And to the point where you may have 2 calls left. You have 2 contracts left that you're going to sell it, when the stock reaches 35. And it doesn't quite make it. It goes back to 31. And you're just going to sit there and go, these last 2 contracts, whatever money they're worth, I got my money out and profits already. This is just, chump change now. But those 2 calls might be sold where you join me, on a Thursday morning and I tell you, pre-market IPOE went up $4 from 33 to 37. It looks really good. You're going, oh, this is great. This might be sell day for me. I'm going to obviously wait for the opening because that's when the contracts will trade. But I'll watch Bruce and watch this market. And that stock might reach 39.50 today. I'm going to kiss him off. This is beautiful. I just made $19.50 plus premium. I got $21 on these contracts. Thank you very much. That might well happen. On the other hand, the stock might sit back at 30 and just sit there. You'll finally give them up and go, okay, well, I got 11.50 on the last 2. Overall, I did well. This is how this works. And it can be very intense and very stressful, but it can also be not stressful. If you discipline yourself to become a trader, an investor, and a disciplined option investor. This is what you really gotta really work at it. And I'll do the best I can to help you guys through it. But anyway, there's that. I was just looking at GameStop. It just touched 180 again. It's now 170.56. Jumping around in the aftermarket. No news that I know of on GameStop. We're still waiting for the CEOE announcement, whenever that's coming. What day? Who is it? Don't know. And we're hoping to find out in the not too distant future the financials for the company, because the first quarter ended 24 days ago, approximately 25 days ago, the end of April. But I'm kind of guessing maybe by the annual meeting, when they have the annual meeting, they'll release that day or the day before. They might release the first quarter financials. If they're good, like really good, they'll want them out. They'll want that out sooner rather than later, but they'll want it out with a splash. And what better time to release your first quarter financials when you're holding your annual meeting and you're talking about the future of the company and how this is going to happen. Oh, and by the way, here are our first quarter financials that just blew the doors off of last year's financials. That would be a good time to do it. So don't be surprised if something is cooking there. Just mention it to you. We'll see what happens. 159.57 on GameStop, 1978 on IPOE. Thank you for these comments and questions. We're doing what we can. Loved it. Fantastic. All right, let's see what happens here. Any more questions here? I imagine Bruce was Waldo in Van Halen's Hot for Teacher video. Oh, man. Memories. The hot teacher. Did you have one? Do you remember did you ever have a hot teacher? Oh my gosh. I have snippets of memory from age 5, age 6. There were a couple of young ladies who were teachers in those days, grade 1s and grade 2s, and I remember one of them. She had I can't remember if she was my teacher or if she was someone. It was a small school, but I don't think she was my teacher. But she was, for her time, at that time in what year was this? Oh my God, 1962, 63. I would say today we would call her a fashionista. She would have been a young woman who was making some money as a teacher, and she was spending it on her wardrobe to a degree. And she was always really well dressed and always had, I remember her high heels. She just had really nice high heels. The kinds of shoes that were new and not beat up and worn out, you know what I mean? There were teachers who wore those granny shoes, you know what I mean? The ones with the laces and the sponge heels that were this thick. The nurses, remember the nurses' shoes? The shoes that nurses wore in the 60s and 70s that were this thick on the bottom, all white, and granny shoes, right? I remember teachers who wore those. And I remember male and female teachers who wore shoes that were beat up and they just looked terrible. And it just didn't work for me. Being a shoe guy, I respected someone who had really, really well kept footwear. That said a lot to me. And in years later, I learned from other brokers, stockbroker. You want to present yourself to a client? It's your shoes, buddy. It's your haircut and your shoes. Those are the first two things they notice, the top and the bottom of you, and then the rest of it, we'll figure it out. Anyway, I remember back in like grade 3, grade 2, there was this one who had she was always so well dressed, and she stood out. But it was grade 9, grade 9, grade 10, grade 11. We had an English teacher. Oh yeah, we had an English teacher, and unfortunately, well, in reality, she was married. But we were so envious of the husband, whoever that was. We never met that guy, but this gal, oh man, in her mid-20s now, and at the top of her game. And this would be 69, 70, 71, 72 mini skirts. You remember that? Yeah, she could wear those, and the heels to go with it. She had the package, the complete package, the long hair, the long legs, and the long heels. And oh my gosh, as a 15-year-old high school student, 16-year-old, 17-year-old, those are tough years. Those are difficult years. But boy, didn't want to miss that class. Just didn't want to miss it. What can I say? Oh, those years going by. The hot teacher. That was the hot teacher, and every male in high school knew who the hot teacher was in that school. It was this one. I'm not going to tell you her name. I'm not going to say her. I'm not doing that. Yeah, what can I see? Oh, man. Here we go. Brandon, high school, we had a chem teacher that was a former Marine, just like my guy, I bet you. He tolerated nothing, and not even the class clown could beat this guy. 10-year reunion, general thoughts was he was the best teacher we had. Yeah, exactly. You knew deep down inside that when you came out of that class and that year, you knew more than when you went in, because this person, no fooling around. And if you could gain the respect of that teacher, were you on your game? Oh man. And there were classmates of mine, male and female, that would really work hard to get the respect of those teachers. Really hard. Yeah. No question about it. But we had class, we hated him, but it's funny how it turned out. When you got older, you respected him the most. Yeah, I know. Absolutely so true. So true. What can I say? Here, your shoe fetish makes me wonder if you're Italian like me, must have good shoes. You gotta have good shoes. Oh yeah, you gotta. Absolutely. We had a cute English teacher in middle school who had very large tracts of land. Oh no, we had a teacher with the greatest something I've ever seen. Tush, his name was Mr. Man, must have done squats for daytimes. Oh my goodness. Oh, what can I say? Yep, those are the days. We had a math teacher whose name was Mr. Sargent. Super dry sense of humor, but a nice guy. Oh man, oh man, oh man. We had a gym teacher, Mr. Z. Mr. Zadrawhall was his name. Mr. Zadrawhall. We called him the Big Z, the Big Z. And he had a marine haircut. He had red hair in a marine cut. And he was, I think he was the head of the phys ed department. So he was always in the, just phys ed, where we had other teachers who were phys ed teachers, but math teachers, that kind of thing. But this guy was pure phys ed. You wanted to do whatever you could to get his approval. He was that kind of guy. He was a motivator, and he led by example. And oh man, all of us. I remember every guy in the class. We wanted to be like this guy. We wanted, he had this certain je ne sais quoi, and he led by example. He was my volleyball teacher. He was my volleyball coach, high school volleyball coach, and we won the city championship because of this guy. There's no question. Because of the coach, we won it because he motivated us to work our butts off to become, as good as we could be, and that was the only time I was ever part of a team that won a championship in school, and he was a motivator. And I had to tell my father that I could not work one Saturday or one Friday at the store, at my dad's music store. I couldn't work because of the team. We were having a practice on like a Saturday, and I couldn't come into the store. I was getting paid to work. I was getting money, but I had to ask my father, kind of ask and tell him. I got this thing. We're going for the city championship next week, and we've got a special Saturday class. And he said, "No, you do that. Absolutely, yeah." Because it's the first time I told him I had to go to school on a Saturday. My kid is going to a school on a Saturday. Who's this guy? Who can you motivate this kid to take math like that? Oh man, only you were my math teacher. Anyway, we went into school on Saturday, and it was eerie. Such an eerie feeling being in our high school on a Saturday when there's nobody there. And we were the only guys there. We're in our locker room. We're getting dressed and coming out for rehearsal, practice. And here we were with our coach. And it was eerie. I had never experienced that before, to be in the school when we didn't need to be there because it's always closed. It's closed on weekends. But he told us, he said, "You want to win this thing? This is the price you have to pay. You gotta practice and practice and practice and really dedicate yourself to the goal. And the goal is to win this thing." And I can tell you right now, the team we're up against, they're doing this too. They're practicing today too because they want to beat you. You want to beat them? We're here. I'm here. If I'm here and you're here and we work this together, we become a unit. We can take this thing to the ultimate degree. And this is just the city championship. We won it. Unbelievable. It was something. Well, I'm 65 and I'm still talking about it. How about that? Mr. Z. Oh man. Yeah. What can I say? It's amazing. It's amazing how people motivate you, isn't it? It's incredible where they're at. Yep. Alex says, "I'm also a shoe boot person, not Italian though." This episode could be an instant classic. Hot teachers. Seamlessly into a hot teacher session, just like nothing. Oh, yeah. What can I say? Oh, man. My French teacher was so hot, I took a liking to escargot. Suddenly, there's a Van Halen song playing in my head. Oh man. I remember I think I had graduated high school. I think I was now in college, and I was in my father's music store. It was a Saturday. It's a Saturday morning, and My father's music store was a block away from downtown Kitchener's Farmers Market. And every Wednesday and Saturday, it was Farmers Market. And this was a Saturday. And that was the bigger of the 2 days for the farmers market. A lot of people would come downtown to shop, buy cheese and meats and vegetables and all that stuff. And it was about 11 in the morning, and I'm in my dad's music store, and two women come in the front door of the store, and I instantly recognized one of them as my hot English teacher, who I hadn't seen for 2 years because I'm out of school now. I'm in college. And she comes in, and she comes in with a friend of hers, and it's a whole different thing. Like, I'm seeing her in my dad's store, like it's my turf. It's not the school, it's my turf. And she, she's got jeans on and casual clothes because it's Saturday morning. She's not dressed like in class, like I remember, and still can't forget. But she comes in, and she specifically came into the store because she knew from my high school years that my father had a music store, and it was right near the farmers market, and she knew that I worked there part-time, and she came in just on the off chance that I was working that day, and I was, and she came in to say hi to me. I couldn't believe it. I was delightfully stunned. And she said, I just wanted to say hi and want to find, how you doing? I said, well, I'm in college. I'm going to George Brown College in Toronto. I'm taking watchmaking. I'm in year 1 of my 3-year program, or my second year maybe. I can't remember which one. And she said, I'm so happy. I'm so proud of you. You're such a really great person. You're such a great person. And I thought, my God, the hottest teacher in school is telling me how nice I am. She says, I just want to wish you the best. And she comes and gives me a hug. I mean, I never touched her in high school. I was too terrified to even touch her. Oh my God, she gives me a hug and said, congratulations and good luck to you in the future. I go, oh, thank you so much. I was just like, oh. Don't worry, she was still married. She was happily married. It was all good. But I was now 20, I guess. And she would have been 27, 28. And I was no longer the student. I was now an adult. I was now an equal out of the classroom. Could not call her by her first name. She asked me to. Couldn't do that. You can't do that. No. You can't do that with your teacher. You can't call your teacher by their first name ever. Never. No. But it was pretty cool. Yeah, you never forget. You know these people, they motivate you. Anyway, there you go. And what do we got here? Jake was wondering, I wasn't able to start listening. Can anyone tell me if Bruce was talking about selling covered calls earlier, or was most of the discussion buying contracts, when to sell? It wasn't. I wasn't talking about covered calls today. I was talking more about buying contracts along. And don't stand so close to me from the police. Bring on the hot teachers. Yes. There was always another side of the coin. Our physical ed teacher could have been a double for a sloth from the Goonies. Oh, yeah. Good teachers don't get the respect or the pay they deserve. There you go. And what else is going on? Oh, man. Thank you, everybody, for tolerating my thoughts today. The old days. And I had a teacher who was so mad of having an accident with a deer that ripped off part of his car bumper that he hanging on the class wall with a note saying, I killed Bambi's mom. Can't do that today. I don't think you can get away with that today. Oh, man. Oh, my gosh. Oh, that's funny. Yep. Let's see. I'm now having flashbacks of that 80s film Summer School, learning stocks, a new topic every day. Great show. Oh, my gosh. That's funny. Thank you, everybody. Oh, wow. Remember the first month of COVID when everyone finally gave teachers respect? 2 months later, they were begging teachers to come back and take these kids again and risk your lives with my kids. Oh, yeah. Yep, absolutely. That's true. That's true. Oh, man. Come on, guys. Let's give Bruce 1,000 likes so we can hear more of these hot school teacher stories. How are we doing? We've got 519 thumbs ups. Thank you, everybody. We're happy for that. Whatever we can get. Yeah. Man, oh man, oh man. What can I say? Oh man, I missed the hot teacher story. Jen must be out of the house. She's right there. She's sitting right there. I hope Jen didn't hear that teacher was hot. I've told her this story many a time. And she's still here. But she's hotter than that teacher was, you see. That's the thing. See? I have my own hot teachers. She has her own hot teacher stories. Yeah, Jen has hot teacher stories, you see. How about that action? See? Very good. Let's see here. Oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my. What else? Let's see. Coming up here. Thank you, everybody, for hanging around and being here and tolerating Uncle Bruce. Thank you. Let's see. I go to work one day and this is what happens, says Ashley. I go to one day, I come back and this is what you're talking about. Oh man. True story, by the way, says Drew. Let's see. I want to go back to 1969. Oh, what a year that was. Yeah, I remember speaking of the hot teacher, she was as close to our generation as students as we had. That was the other thing about her that we all adored about her, because she was 25 or so, 24 when she was teaching us, and we were 16, 17. I mean, that's close. I mean, we can see the future. We're looking at her going, she's not a 50-year-old, she's not 60 finishing off her teaching career. I mean, I had a 60-year-old teacher in geography, and it was like, oh God, like she was counting the semesters until it was over to then retire, But here we had just this one, she was just getting into the profession. So she was cool, like really cool and kind of our age. And she liked our music, which was just, oh, do you remember when you were our age? You don't know. You kids out there, you don't. Maybe you do know. You're 30 now. When you were 17, the kind of music you were into, and your teachers were boomers, and they didn't like your music, and they didn't want to know your music. Remember that? It was the same for me. In 67 and 68, 69, 80, in 66, 67, it's the Beatles, man. It's the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, the CCR in 1970, and all of this music that was just coming at us. And we had teachers who were 20 years older than us, and they did not take kindly to that kind of stuff, and it was this generational gap in school. Tough times for some of us, right? So this is why some of these teachers so stood out to us. They stand out to us now in our older years. We still go back and we go, I can name off my top 10 teachers. I can name them. I see them. They're there, and they were cool. They were accepting. They understood. They related. Some were in their 50s, and yet they were still cool, which is the most incredible gift to have, to be a 53-year-old teacher and be the coolest teacher to a 17-year-old. Wow, that was huge for us, because so many of my classmates did not have parents they could get along with. They were having the generational divide in their house, and then they were having it at their school. Then they were having it at their part-time jobs. There was no escaping this turmoil, and these kids were just, but every once in a while you came across a teacher that would be accepting and open and would listen to your thoughts or your situation. Man, what a difference maker that person made in your life going forward. You never forgot it. Anyway, there you go. Uncle Bruce, how many times did you dream about your teacher while your father smacked you in the face to go back to work? Dad never had to do that. He never had to motivate me to go back to work. And when I was at the music store, I was happy to be there. That was the coolest place to work. My best friends thought, you have the best job amongst any of us working part-time. You're working in your dad's music store? Oh, man, you got it made. You're surrounded by guitars, amplifiers, drum sets, and customers that want to be in that world, oh man, the best. There was only one more job that could have been better than this. Had my dad owned a top 40 radio station, if he'd owned one of those, oh, well, with the DJs, I would have been in heaven. But this was right next to it, because we were the guys making the music that was on the radio. And so, yeah, it was the coolest job. I loved working in my dad's music store. Loved it. And he was the best boss because I was his best employee. He didn't have to bug me to vacuum the floors and clean the glass and polish the guitars. I came in there ready to clean that place up and work in that store and earn his respect. And the fellow employees, same thing. So when Bruce came in here, he belonged in here. He was part of the team. I felt and was made to feel very much part of the team. And there were times where my dad had a customer, and the music teacher, he had a customer, and then a customer would walk in. I had to take the next one, and I would be servicing that customer. And I would be literally just saying the words that I'm hearing from these guys all the time. I'm talking like a 35, 40-year-old about what's in this store. And I'm listening to these questions, and I've heard these questions from others, and I'm just giving the answers because I studied. I studied how to be an employee of a music store. And I knew that store front to back, top to bottom. And I knew every brand of guitar. I knew every model of guitar. I knew all the amplifiers. I knew all the accessories you needed. And I could sell. And that's the other thing that really pumps you up when you're a 15-year-old kid, 18-year-old kid, 19, and you can sell a customer $300 worth of a guitar and an amplifier and a wah-wah pedal or whatever, and your father is standing back there watching you, and you are delivering the goods, and you are not making a mistake. You are not misrepresenting the store. You are elevating the store's reputation by, you're shining that investment that your father made, his blood, sweat, and tears into this business, and you are delivering for this guy. Oh man, you have no idea. Well, maybe you do, but my friends had no idea. My best friends who were 17, 18, they had no idea that I could do that. And I tell you, the pride that you have. And I knew that I'd be in my dad's store for 4 hours. He was paying me $2 an hour. I was getting $8. But I also knew that in that cash register is way more than $8 of net profit from what I did today. That is what I also got. I figured that out. So if I did a $300 sale and there was $100 in profit margin or $120 in profit margin in that transaction for the store, I knew I just paid for 15 shifts of my time. I've just paid for myself 15 times over for today. And that was a revelation that I knew that at age 15. I already knew this. And going forward in life, when I was trying to become a stockbroker with some of these brokerage firms that wouldn't take me on, I was looking at these managers in stunned silence. You're not hiring me? Do you have any idea how much money I can make you? Do you have any? You have no idea. You just don't get it. Either I can't sell myself, or you're not allowed to hire the best salesman that just walked into your office for this year. I'm your number one guy, and you just let me go. Are you out of your mind? You're going to regret this, because we're going to bump into each other down the road when I become a broker. And if I become a manager someday, I'm going to be an equal to you. You're going to look at me and go, I should have hired you, man. Why didn't I hire you? That's what happens. What can I say? Anyway, there you go. Didn't need to be smacked. Oh, no. Anyway, there you go. Thank you for being here. Thank you for these comments. I had a high school teacher who sent you to the back of the room to Siberia if you were misbehaving. He also believed every student should have detention at least once. He never found out that I hadn't. Yep. Bruce, Jen has hot teacher stories. Bruce, you're going to be killing your audience. Let her tell her hot teacher stories. It is funny. I can remember my first hot teacher, and that was in the 3rd grade. And I remember embarrassingly describing to my dad, or him to my, and he met her for PTO, or afterwards briefly said, "I see." A parent-teacher interview. He met her, and then he went, "Oh, I see what you're talking about. I see." Right up. The Graduate. Oh, The Graduate. Oh my gosh. Matterport to announce earnings in 2 days? Question mark. Maybe. Oh, wouldn't that be something? That could really move GHVI. That could really be interesting, guys. Our GHVI could be in for a move tomorrow. We'll have to watch for that. We'll keep an eye open for that. I like the sound of this. A whole bunch. GHVI 1367 in the aftermarket. No change. All right. Anyway, there you go. The future is plastics. The Graduate. That's right. Oh, man. Oh, now, Carlos, that's a terrible comment to make. Terrible. Catholic school nuns can't relate, Bruce. I hear you there. Sorry. Oh, man. Let's see. I got it bad for teacher. I got it bad for teacher. Just bought GVHI today. There you go. You definitely want to be in this. I think Gorse Holdings is going to do very well. And Matterport will do very well for us as well. Yeah, definitely. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Let's see if I got a new member. Dave. Thank you, Dave Pritchard. Thank you for joining this channel. Great to have you here, buddy. Thank you. That is good stuff. You're here, and I'm glad you're around. Let's see. There's Dave. There's Dave. Dave's here. Hi, everybody. Happy part of the family. Thank you for joining us. All right. Yeah, Bruce has our complete attention. Hot teacher stories. We're all sitting up straight and listening. In college, I had 3 male teachers. 3 male teachers. Mainly, actually, probably 2. We had 2 guys and watchmakers, and very good. The younger guy was a little more, a little easier going and not as experienced. The older guy, the senior prof that we had, he was year 2, year 3. He was the guy you wanted to, as a matter of fact, he taught year 2 and 3 at the same time, because at the back of the class, there were about 6 or 8 of us, and at the front of the class, there were about 10 of us, and he taught both classes simultaneously at watchmaking for year 2 and 3. So you finished grade 1, year 1, and then you had this guy for the last 2 years. And he was the kind of teacher you wanted to impress as well. And I can't remember his name. Gosh darn it, I can't remember his name. I have a viewer of mine, I think on my other channel, who knows his name, who was a teacher, a classmate of mine. Unbelievable that I met him. Anyway, he was from, I think he was from Austria or from Germany, maybe. Very precise man, very demanding but fair. And he knew if you had it or not, and he knew whether you were trying or not. And he would cut you slack if you showed him that you were really putting in the effort. But he was also the kind of guy that would say to you, this repair that you just did, I'm going to give you a B. Do you know why? And I'd go, I know why. I can't get that to work properly. I can get that. I've got that to this point, but I just can't figure out. And he'd respect you for agreeing with him why you deserved a B instead of an A on this. Because when you realized you could self-analyze yourself, you were okay in his book. You were okay in his book now. And I would go to him and I'd say, look, I just can't get this. There's something about this I'm not doing right. Did I miss a class with you? Is there something I'm not doing right here? And he would work with you. If you worked with him, he'd work with you. I love guys like that, teachers like that. Oh man, you could really respond to people like that. You'd get the best out of me if you were like that. You were a mentor, co-worker, collaborator with me. Oh man, definitely. What can I say? Anyway, there you have it. Thank you, all of you. For this, what do we got? 12 minutes to go. Oh my, time flies when you're having fun talking about hot teachers. Can I say? Yeah. What can I say? Yeah. I remember one teacher I had. I'll tell you another story. I had a teacher who was a phys ed teacher and a math teacher. He was also our teacher for computer. Now, in 1975, computer class. How do you have a computer class if you don't have a computer? That's the way it was in 1975. We were taking computer class when there was no computer in the school. No one had a computer. I hadn't seen one in physical format yet. So how do you take computer class? And we had this teacher who was a gym teacher, a math teacher, and a computer teacher. And I barely passed computer. I mean, he gave me a 50 out of the mercy of his soul. He gave me a 50%, which was a pass. And I never took computer class again because I wasn't going to be a software guy. But I had him in math in grade 11. And I had flunked grade 10 math, took summer school and passed it. Flying colors. 11 math, I had him. He got me through with a 50. And then grade 12 math with another teacher, and I flunked it. And I had to take summer school, and I aced it again because it's all about the teacher. And I never had a teacher in high school where I could make mathematics, where I could ace it. I never had that teacher. I wish I had. I desperately wish I had. Never did. And twice I aced mathematics in summer school because they had in summer school the kind of teachers that could take a motivated class of desperados, which I was one, and get it into our thick skulls that we could do this and motivate us and help us and encourage us. And in 6 weeks, or 3 weeks, we could take summer school math the whole year in 3 weeks, and we'd come out with an 80 average. And I had that twice, grade 10 summer school, grade 12 summer school, but never in my high school. Because the math teachers, summer school math teachers, were not from my school. They were not from my school. They were from other schools in the city that were cherry-picked or whatever for this. And there wasn't a single math teacher in my high school that I wanted to have and be motivated by. But this phys ed teacher, he would try, but he had 30 kids in the class, and he had the top 10 aces, then he had the 10 mediocres, and then he had the 10 losers who I couldn't deliver the goods in math class at high school, but was I an ace student in summer school. Incredible. It was just incredible. But he would squeak me through. Spared me summer school for 3 summers in a row. Unbelievable. Anyway, what can I say? Gotta love how he gives equal time to hot male teachers. He wasn't a hot male teacher. He was just, he was a good guy. What can I say? Uncle Bruce, classic Rodney Dangerfield joke. I like teachers. If you make a mistake, they make you do it over again. Yeah, that's right. Got no respect at all. No respect at all. Man. What can I say? Here we go. FYI, Matterport will announce first quarter results on May the 26th. That's day after tomorrow. This is great. Thank you for that. I'm very much looking forward to this. We'll see what happens. Let's play computer. Who would have guessed? Yeah, we all know you never took another computer class again. We can tell, Bruce. We tried to help you last week with your basics on your. You didn't take any computer classes, no. And of course, there were no Apple computers in 1972 when I was taking this class. It had to be 72 when I did this class. 71 maybe, 72. Steve Jobs and Wozniak, they were probably still in school themselves. Yeah, no, didn't happen. Oh man, I didn't have my first computer until I was 30, says Jay Ray. I got a ZX Spectrum 48K in the mid 80s. I played that thing into the ground. Were you in detention a lot? Nope, never in detention. Like I said, I was called back once to my science class at the end of the day to do my homework in 2 years. And in high school, never in detention. Never. No. I had a clean record. I never skipped school. I was always in class, but I was a mediocre guy. I was just mediocre and nothing special. Everyone liked me. He's a likable sort of chap. But the report card would say if he would spend a little less time talking to his classmates and more time studying on it, he'd be a better student. Though I'd get those comments, and my father would have to read those and sign off on it. Very painful, but it was true. I got along with everybody. But the teachers, there were a handful. And I would get, my geography teacher, Mr. Kugler, genius. I'd get A's from him. He said, but he wouldn't write anything in the comments. He wouldn't write anything about me. He would just give me an A and leave it at that. If he would write, brilliant student, really focuses, or a pleasure to have in my class. He didn't do that. It would just give me an A and no comment on the report card. But the teachers that would comment on my report card were the ones where I was getting the D's and the E's, because it's my fault that I'm the moron. And if you would just apply yourself, you'd be better. Now, maybe you could be a better teacher. Maybe it's you that's the problem, because these other teachers, I'm getting great grades from these guys because these are great teachers. Everyone loves these guys. Everyone hates you guys because all of us were struggling with certain teachers. I don't know. I just, man, what can I say? Uncle Bruce, your dad's guitar shop, I imagine how much those amps and guitars are worth now. I'm sure he had old Les Pauls. Yeah, of course. We were selling the Les Pauls and the Stratocasters and the jazz bass Fender basses. Oh, for sure. We had them all. We had the Gretsch, the George Harrison Gretsch guitar for the Beatles. We had those. We had the Rickenbackers. We had them all. Absolutely. Bruce's summer school teacher. Thanks. And thanks to you all. Love the Bagel Gang. Yoko was my music teacher, says Bruce's summer school teacher. Oh, no. Back to the salt mine. Thanks for the great stories, Uncle Bruce. 5 minutes to go, and we're done here. Same report card comments for me. Bruce does not use time well or distracts others. The disciplined teachers got the best out of me. I agree. I remember grade 10, homeroom, and we were in, I think it was my math teacher too. And they announced to us that they were doing an experimental mathematics program, and we were the guinea pigs. And it was this new math they talked about, this quote unquote new math. I had no idea what it was. It was a disaster. And I thought, why are you putting me into an experimental class when you could just put me into the plus, minus, multiply, and divide class, which I can ace. Why don't you put me in there so I can salvage my damn report card? Oh, no, we're going to put Bruce in one of those classes. What a disaster. Like, before you leave, everybody, what can I say? Bruce, what your classes include commercials like CNBC? Will your classes include commercials like CNBC? Thanks for the idea. Thank you very much. I hadn't thought of that. I had a horrible time with computer science in college, even though I was generally a math kid. Kevin got me through the course. But 20 plus years later in library school, I had a teacher who helped so much. There you go. Man. Uncle Bruce, I had a 68 Fender Mustang bass, yellow with orange racing stripes. Wow. Bruce's summer school teacher, loving this. My older brother was a problem child, laugh out loud. I had to prove myself to the teachers because they didn't like him. They didn't like him. You're bad news. Exactly. Yeah. And Jen is going, I had 3 older brothers ahead of me, all troublemakers. And then she showed up, plus her older sister, but her older sister was better. But oh yeah, she got that too through. I'm not related to Dan, but I'm related to her. Yeah, I'm not related to those guys. I'm related to my sister, who's nice. I'm the younger sister of the sister who was okay. The history. Oh, what's your last name? Oh, that's your last name. Are you related to those 3 guys? Oh, yeah. And I had a younger sister who did really well in school, because when I started school, I couldn't speak English. I spoke nothing but German. When my sister started school, she spoke English, and she got A's. And they would say to me, "Why can't you be like your younger sister?" Yeah, I had that, boy. Welcome to the 60s and 70s, man. My music teacher once asked me to sing solo. So low, everybody could hear me. Oh, man. Yep. Dave, Uncle Bruce, look up Tom Lair's song, New Math. Louise, after I set a few things on fire in chemistry class, I was put in charge of drawing the labs. Good pivot right there. Ashley, have a good night, peeps. Thanks, Bruce. Thank you, Ashley. Bye, Ashley. Ashley, take care. Oh, my gosh. Unbelievable. I never had that relationship in high school where I could just... it would work on every level. It just didn't work for me. My sister had a much easier time of it than I did, but, that 2 years differential, 3 years differential, night and day. Oh, my God. Uncle Bruce, my father was a teacher, and from kindergarten through 8th grade, I was in the same school with him. Oh, man. One of my good buddies in high school, his father was the chemistry teacher. Not the same chemistry teacher I'm talking about with the crew cut. So there was Paul, my buddy, and then there was Mr. So-and-so, the teacher. I had him for 1 year. And I liked him. He was a very soft-spoken man, very soft-spoken. If he had to get strict, he would. But everyone liked him because he wouldn't take the hardcore with us. He would say to us, if I'm not explaining it right, let me know and I'll do it again. Like, I really respected that. But I would get B's from him. I'd get B's. But I had him once. I had him 1 year, and my best friend had him as a teacher. His father was his teacher, but he got A's because he was always in the class helping Dad out. So, the kid had it, obviously. But they had a very good relationship, the father and the son. Thankfully, they had a very good relationship, and it worked out. But 8 years. Oh my gosh! Yikes! See you, Ashley. Take care. Peanut butter and jelly. School. Oh my gosh, school and mentors, right? And motivators. And then after school, motivators at work, fellow coworkers, managers, owners of businesses that would take you under their wing and show you priceless. These people are priceless. They're gods. They're absolute angels. Yeah. Got to bounce. Bruce, see you tomorrow. Folks, I got to go too. Thank you for being here tonight. I'll be on now on my other channel twice, Traveling with Bruce. We'll be on for the sponsor member show at 7 and the big show at 8 o'clock. You're welcome to join. We'll hang out at 8 o'clock, talk cruise ships and travel, see what's going to happen. Thank you, everybody. In the meantime, thank you. Good night, everybody. Have a great evening. We're closing at 179.52. We're trading at the GameStop, virtually unchanged, down 50 cents. No big deal. Bruce is now our mentor. Thank you, guys. Brucey, we love you. Have a great night. We'll see you all in the morning. And Resident Fleet, all right, we did well today. Thanks, Uncle Bruce, in the chat. We're doing well. We'll see you tomorrow. Bruce's summer school teacher. Thank you. You're the best, Uncle Bruce. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Have a good evening, everybody, and thank you for being here. Take care. Stay warm. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Stay social distance. Wear your mask. Get your shots. Stay healthy. Let's make money tomorrow. Lots more. Happy Monday night. All right, guys. We'll talk to you later. Thank you, Søren. Thank you. And Wally's World. Good night, Drew. Thank you, too. All right, guys. We'll see you a little later. Sharon, thank you. We'll see you later, Sharon, on the other channel. We'll see you in a bit.